So you can actually sum up percentages, because when you sum up percentages, what this means is every time you trade, you always invest the same amount of money into the same trade, right? So what that means is, there is something called a compounded interest rate. You've probably heard of that, where the interest rate goes exponential. That means that every time you add another percentage, it adds to the percentage you already had. But there is another thing that you can do, is basically when you add up percentages, the assumption underlying this is that whenever you trade, you always use the same amount of money for each trade. So every time you go into a trade, you say you invest $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 for each trade, right? So you can actually sum up percentages. So it's not too bad. And I show you later, if you wanted to have this in a compounded way, that means, you made, let's say, 5% on your $100, and you go up to 105, and then you make 5% on 105, and so on, right? You have to do something slightly different. Let me show you this. It's not that hard. What you need to do is you need to calculate the cumulative product. Yeah. But if you just did the cumulative product of these small values, what you realize is you go straight to zero, because you multiply one small value with another. So this is obviously not how you do it. The way you can do this is you add a 1 to each of these P&L values. Yeah. Now, P&Ls, you remember, I created this as a list. Yeah. But you can't just add a 1 to a list in Python. A list is just a collection of numbers. You have to turn this into an array. And what you can do is, with an array, you can actually add a number to an array, and means it's added to each number in the array. And again, this is where we need NumPy. What we can do is we can go np.array P&Ls. And now we can conveniently add 1. Yeah. So I show you this. See, if I plot this, you can see now we've got 1.01, 1.02, 1.03, 1.02, right? If I take the 1 off, it's 0. Yeah. If I did this just with the values here, with the P&L values, it just gives me an error, because it says, oh, it's a list. So I can do it with an array, but not with a list. This is why NumPy is so extremely handy. And so let's run this. So you can see it looks pretty similar, right? It's not that different. In fact, we can actually plot both of them and compare them. How about that? So we do the cumulative sum again. And actually what we need to do is because it's a 1 plus, we need to actually subtract the 1 in the end, because then they start from the same point. And you can see they are pretty similar. They're not exactly the same, because when we multiply the percentages, it actually means it becomes cumulative. It actually, you actually add the percentage then to the previous value and to the previous value and so on. So it basically means you reinvest your profits. In the first case, where we add them up, you do not reinvest your profits. In the second case, you do reinvest your profits. And hence, you make a little bit more money. And that, obviously, in the long term, if you keep doing that, that will accumulate and it will exponentially grow. But this is this orange line, the addition that only grows more or less in a linear way. But more on this later.